Hey everybody, this is Luke with Team Taoshi. Thank you guys all for starting to jump on here. I'm just waiting for a rush and waiting for to hit the top of the hour here, and then once we have that, we'll get things rolling. So thanks for your guys' patience. Give it another 3, 4, 5 minutes here, and we'll get underway. Thanks for joining us, guys. Welcome to everybody who's just joining. This is Luke from Team Taoshi. We'll have Arash joining here soon, and we'll get things underway. Just giving it some time here as we're just hitting the top of the hour, and then we'll get things moving. Thanks everyone for joining. We appreciate your time. Looking forward to walking through this agenda with you guys. All right, everyone. Arash just joined, so I'm going to pull Arash up to the stage here. Arash, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, perfect. All right, let me pull you up to the stage here, and we can jump into things. I will pull myself off the stage and turn this over to you. So thanks, everyone, for joining, and a couple of minutes past the hour, so let's get this underway. I'll turn it over to you, Arash.
Great. Hey, everybody. Excited to chat today. A lot of different things that we've announced, a lot of questions I'm sure people have. And so excited to spend some time talking about what we're working on and also answering questions. That's kind of the point of these community calls, is allowing us an opportunity to hear from you guys and also discuss what we've been up to and what we're planning. So some things that we're going to be talking about today: Glitch Financial, where we're at with that, how we're planning on growing the ecosystem, our various programs that we've discussed, why are we releasing those programs, and what do they do for the ecosystem, how we think about our token and our usage of the token for ourselves, and also some adjustments to miner incentive. Great. So Glitch Financial obviously is in beta. We launched this in April to a limited number of users. So we currently have about 40 users on the platform with $250,000 in assets under management. Essentially just the amount of funds that are being traded on. We've limited the amount of funds that users can use just because we're in beta. We know there's bugs. We've mentioned this many times to the user base that we've onboarded. And currently we have an alpha model that's live. And we're constantly making improvements to both the platform and also to our models. So we're going to have a new crypto and forex model launching. So the crypto model should be a beta model. Paul, our lead quant, has been working on it. Should be released this week, and then there'll be improvements to it going on next week. And then forex model should be launching in the next couple of weeks. One of the things we do want to do is we do want to provide access to as many people as we can. That's the whole idea behind what we're building. With Glitch Financial, it's really a SaaS platform where you just go through a few steps to sign up, choose a strategy, choose the exchange or broker, and you're ready to go. It'll just automatically trade. So with a few clicks. So our hope is to enable more people to have access to this. So we'll have a full public launch in Q3. And what that'll do is it'll enable anyone to sign up to review the data, the strategies, choose which ones they'd like to use. And there is however, I will say it is capacity based. So, strategies will continue to expand in the amount of capital essentially that they're willing to take on. And that number will continue to increase with time. So not just the number of strategies, but also the capacity of strategies, those two numbers will essentially increase. We have a lot of users waiting to come on board, so you'll be able to come on board and use the product in Q3. And we have a goal to grow this sustainably with a target of over $10 million in assets under management, essentially the amount of capital deployed by end of year. So it's a sustainable growth. And then it's just kind of exponential from there. So in 26, we want to see that number go up drastically, especially as we incorporate US-based users.
Awesome. Before we jump to the next slide, I do want to throw out there to our chat and audience, if you guys do have questions, we will have an AMA session after the call. So feel free to put your questions in the chat, and then we'll get to them after the call. Awesome.
Cool. So we have these 4 programs that are incredibly powerful that we're releasing. So every one of these programs is powered from our SN ownership emissions. So it's via the alpha token we receive, Theta, for SN8, and we'll be doing payouts using it. So the 4 programs that we are releasing are the Active Validator program, which we'll talk about, Miner Incentive Program, Bounty Program, and Affiliate Marketing Program. So all of these, the intention of all of this is to drive forward the ecosystem and really decentralize our efforts, right? We're one team at Taoshi, and if we are able to decentralize and leverage the ecosystem, enabling our community to build out entire businesses around everything we're doing, we think that we can scale massively to the benefit of everyone. So that's kind of what we're trying to build out. So let's talk about the Active Validator program. So with the Active Validator program, validators will be taking the outputted commodity, essentially the signals generated from the network, and they'll be allowed to go to market with those, go to market on Glitch Financial with generated strategies from the signals produced. So essentially, we are going to incentivize them to take action on the outputted signals of the network. So we're not the only ones that will be producing strategies on Glitch Financial. All the validators will be producing strategies and putting them on Glitch Financial and competing for rewards. So the reward distribution is essentially based off risk-adjusted returns, assets under management, and revenue produced on Glitch Financial. So the whole goal with this, right, is currently validators are receiving this commodity, and we believe that this accomplishes a few things. One, the competition on the validator level will increase drastically. So currently, Glitch Financial runs a 0% take validator, and so validators in this program will also be will need to run a competitive validator against ours to get access to the network. So essentially, to get access to the best trading signals on the network, you need to be one of the largest validators. And so there will be a pressure on validators to give back to the ecosystem in order to grow the size of their delegation. So theta holders, investors have a lot of say in which validators will perform well, right? Whether that's through determining the performance of their strategies or that's through their programs to give back. Whatever the ecosystem deems valuable will be the validators that end up getting the most delegation to build out more sophisticated strategy and get more capacity for their strategies. So that's one thing. The second is this increases the performance of the strategies on Glitch Financial. So showcasing the value of the network is incredibly important. That's the most important thing for us right now. That's really what we're concentrated on. And this enables us to showcase it in the best light possible with competition. What we've realized building out, S&8 on BitTensor is really that incentive programs and minor competition is the best way to showcase value or get a valuable commodity. And right now, regardless of how you put it, whether you have subnets or not, the validators are the ones that have access to the end commodity, right? The end of this pipeline, however you create it, is always validators. And so we want to create a program that incorporates them heavily into the value proposition of the network, and this aligns it. So right now we are gathering competitors who will be launching validators to come compete. There's a few quant teams that have reached out that have expressed interest. And again, this will be the distribution of rewards will be through to start through our S and ownership emissions. So we will be essentially paying them to come compete and essentially showcase the value of the network. And so we'll be we'll be providing more tools for them to get started, providing far more information on this as we in the coming weeks, and we're hoping to launch this in Q3. The next one is the miner incentive program. So one of the things that's really important with what we're doing is the ability to bring in talent. So, we can have this great incentive mechanism, but if we're not showcasing the program to the world or trying to attract the most talented traders in the world, then we're doing ourselves a disservice. So we need to put the emphasis on getting the talent. And the numbers that we've put together with this $100,000 reward is essentially to try to attract talent from other major firms. So we've reviewed how much they get paid from other firms, what would incentivize them or entice them to come compete on S&8. And that is the goal with this program. We're really targeting the elite traders of the world. And so this is this is directly through one of our links. If you are interested, you can apply at taoshi.io/trader to come compete. But this will allow us to kind of market to the world that we're here and that we want to get the best talent for our strategies. Bounty program. So this one's pretty straightforward, but we essentially want to decentralize our efforts on our engineering project. So whether it's building out PTN, building infrastructure for trading strategies, helping us build out more sophisticated pipelines to Glitch Financial, we're going to be leveraging the ecosystem to help build out a lot of various programs, and that's just to make it so that we can build faster and more efficiently. So we want to incorporate the ecosystem in this. We'll have bounty programs. We've already had a lot of expressed interest in these bounty programs. So we'll have more information on this soon. Last one, affiliate marketing. So if we put this all together, right, we have mining competition increasing. We are marketing to get the best talent in terms of trading talent, quant talent, with their miner incentive program. And that program will just continue to increase in size. The validators are competing to showcase the best outputted product from the network, right? And those are via the strategies on Glitch Financial. And the last piece of this is affiliate marketing, driving users to Glitch Financial. So you'll be able to start an entire business just launching affiliate marketing for Glitch Financial to drive user base to Glitch Financial, to showcase the value of the strategies, to get them to use the strategies. So whether you're a wealth manager and you onboard your own clientele, or you're an affiliate marketer and you just are running ads, you will be able to essentially get rewarded in theta based on your ability to drive assets under management based on lifetime value of a customer base. And that'll be launching in Q4 as we continue to scale out, and it'll get far more aggressive heading into 26, especially as we get US customer base. So very excited for this program. I know there's been expressed interest and we want to get people involved. Okay, so let's talk about let's just talk about like how we see our alpha token, right? So for us, really the way we see it is something that we need to think about our community first, and we sustainably think about our token usage. So really, the way that we want to do this is by showcasing results. So if we sell our token, it's based off our ability to produce results and with the end goal here of really increasing the growth of Glitch Financial. So when we think about the assets under management growing, we need to be able to support the product, right? The platform we're building with Glitch Financial for scale. And so we need to onboard more more employees, more people. The operational costs increase, our server costs increase, and we need to be able to cover that. So one of the things that we're doing is we're going to be putting together a KPI-driven approach to how we sell our token. And that's based off assets under management growing on Glitch Financial. So as assets under management grow, our ability to sell to cover our costs at a reasonable rate continues to rise. And any sales will be via a time-weighted average price approach. So it's not going to be all at once a dump or something like that. It's going to be something we spread out over time with small incremented selling. So yeah, I think from our perspective, how we use the alpha token and understanding, the fact that we have a lot of it and effectively using it via these programs to drive value is really how we think about our alpha token. Is how can we distribute this to the major ecosystem participants to drive more value for us? And if we're selling, can we make sure that we're doing it reasonably to essentially make sure we can cover our costs? But that's the main thing we're just looking to do is be able to cover our costs and no more. The last thing that this is a big one, is we are going to be adjusting our miner rewards, and we will be performing roughly a 90% burn on miner emissions. So the goal with this is essentially, up until now, we've essentially concentrated on growing as quickly as we can, attracting talent. We think the miner incentive program will help us do that, attract the talent and pay from our SN ownership emissions. And the other thing that really is top of mind here on why we're doing this right now is because the collateral features are still relatively new to the ecosystem. So collateral based in Tau was just released, and it's still kind of in its infancy. And we are going to be pretty much be the first subnet to do alpha-based collateral, which has never been done. And so we want to make sure we do that correctly and we pay appropriately for our miners. So we will be doing a burn. And as we build out collateral and capacity, which I'll touch on really quickly as well, that amount of burn will decrease. So as miners essentially put down collateral to compete to increase their amount of capacity they're trading on the network, and they prove out essentially their ability to trade on more and more size, which will be happening, the amount that we're burning will decrease and miner payouts will increase. So it's appropriately paying out miners for the work and increasing it over time. Cool. Any questions?
Awesome. Yeah. So we do have some questions starting to come in chat. So we did have some on Twitter from earlier in the week, which I did want to jump into as they were a response to this community call. So, and then we'll jump over to the chat. So, first question: what are your thoughts about how you might drive value to alpha in the future as the subnet becomes successful and profitable?
Yeah. So internally at Taoshi, like we think of the network first. So that includes the alpha token, which we contribute to. And for us, our goal is to drive as much value back to the token as possible. That's the point of these programs. That's the point of of having a KPI based program for selling. It's to appropriately manage what we're receiving. And the same goes for giving back. We want to maximize the value for our holders and the holders of SNA token. And so we will be driving back we will work to drive back all of the revenue essentially to the token. And then any selling we need to do, we want to have a really open relationship with our community. So if we need to sell cover server costs, for Glitch Financial's infrastructure, we will be very open about that. The KPI based selling component of what we're building out for selling our token or releasing is to be open with our community on what we're looking to hit, what our targets are, and also what that unlock does, essentially like an unlock of our as an ownership tokens for selling. And again, that's for the growth component. So we essentially want to grow Glitch Financial exponentially and give all that value back to the ecosystem, whether that's charging users on a monthly basis, charging validators for the strategies they deploy, whatever we end up doing to create revenue, we want to be open and honest about that back to the ecosystem for their, for those holding theta.
Awesome. Next question coming from Doug in the chat. Arash, please let me know if you need me to repeat this one, as we've got a lot of kind of questions built into this one. So, question is, how does YC3 affect the active validator program? Is a specific version required? What are your thoughts on this? Does vtrust/consensus weight have anything to do with the AVP? Is it just stake amount in terms of network bandwidth so they can access better outputs for better strategies?
Yeah, so it doesn't really have an impact. AVP itself is a centralized program that we're running from our SN ownership emissions to drive value on Glitch Financial, and it's to help the ecosystem again drive more value. So from that perspective, no. From a bandwidth or access perspective, validators will get more or less access based off of their delegation size. So it's not based off of their vtrust, because we have essentially a shadow sync where all the validators are continuously in sync. So vtrust is pretty much maintained at close to 1 if you are running an active validator on the network. And you have that feature turned on. So all the validators are essentially perfectly in sync. So it's not a matter of vtrust. They should be almost in perfect vtrust. It's more about the size of the delegation they're given. And again, I would assume based off of competition that 0% take would be just a basic standard for a validator to run in the program.
Cool. Another question in the chat from Mike White. How does miner emission burn impact miners? Are the top miners still earning the same, or does this reduce their earnings?
Yeah, so with the burn, they will receive less with the burn. So what a burn is essentially, for those that don't know, a burn means that we are taking the emissions that we're giving to miners, and we are putting them in a place where no one has access to them. So that's what the network does automatically. It's not something that we're doing manually. It's a feature that exists from BitTensor. So we are just simply activating that feature and determining what percent goes into that wallet. Now, that number that we are putting in there will decrease with time as miners choose to compete with more collateral, meaning they're depositing theta, and which is our alpha token, as they deposit more theta to showcase that they can trade on more capacity, meaning essentially a simulated amount of funds, we are going to reward them more. So that burn will decrease with time as their ability to trade on capacity increases and they show their ability to increase their trading capacity. That is then reflected on Glitch Financial. So the amount that our validators can trade on, right, or deploy their strategies for users to use on Glitch Financial, then also simultaneously increases. So you can think of it this way: validators or miners will be depositing cash or capital, sorry, in theta, and that translates to a certain amount of capacity they're trading on. As their collateral increases to be competitive, their capacity to trade increases, and that showcases their ability to trade on size. Naturally, this in our models, this will fill out. So based off of how much emissions is available on our network, the miners will increase their capacity to match. So we can just imagine that capacity continuously increases based off of essentially minor emissions. The burn will decrease drastically, and to be competitive as a miner, you'll need to deposit significant funds. So that's kind of how it builds out over pretty much the rest of the year. Is that capacity will continue to increase. This will unlock more trading capacity or trading strategy capacity on Glitch Financial for our validators, and so they can essentially enable more users to have access to their strategies.
Cool. Kind of piggybacking off of that last question, your explanation. We had a question in the chat. Could you explain a little bit more why we chose to burn over recycling these emissions?
Right. Yeah. I don't believe that recycling in particular is a option for us, and we need to move on this rather soon. This was a decision that we made. So burn is the available option. We don't have a way to do this comprehensively from the bid tensor infra using recycling. So burn is the current option that we chose to go forward with based off of the factors we had.
Cool. If you guys have any questions, please do put them in the chat and we'll keep answering them. Another kind of follow-up question here from Mike said, would also love to know what one miner and number two validator reactions have been to these rollouts so far.
There's a ton of interest from new validators. That's without a doubt. They're very excited about the ability to come compete. We actually just had a call with a hedge fund that is interested in competing in this, reviewing the data, coming to compete with strategies. And so we're seeing this renewed energy on the validator front, where we're going to see a lot of new competition. And again, the owners of Theta are the ones that are going to determine which validators succeed, and they're going to have a lot of sway. And so that's what we want to do, is we want to have this natural pressure from the holders of Theta on the validators, right? And I think that kind of already exists natively in the BitTensor ecosystem, just kind of the way that the dynamics are, and we're just kind of unlocking it to a further degree. So very exciting for validators, new validators to come compete. Existing validators are figuring out ways to be competitive by partnering with other teams. They obviously have, like, root network-based validators have a lot of access and they have a lot of delegation from root. And so they're figuring out ways to come compete by working with others. Maybe not creating strategies, but providing the data for other teams to come use and compete on. So from that perspective, it's been great to see so much interest. From the miner side, collateral capacity is just the natural progression as we have so many emissions. As we continue to grow, which we fully expect on PTN and SN8 in size, we need to make sure that our miners are matching that capacity. And so this enables that. And so competition will ramp very quickly on that front between miners.
Cool. Wanted to pull in another question here from X earlier in the week as we see if there's any other questions. What incentives are there to hold your alpha token?
Yeah, I mean, it's the growth of all these programs and Glitch Financial, right? Like, we have the outputted product platform that we've built which is Glitch Financial. We're going to have validators showcasing the value of the network on Glitch Financial. So not only will the validators be generating revenue from Glitch Financial, from the strategies they release, right? So as they onboard users, they're essentially generating revenue on a subscription-based model. But the platform itself will charge users for access itself. And so all of that revenue, whether it's the validators or Taoshi generating revenue from its strategies or its infrastructure, will all eventually come back into the ecosystem. And again, I think Theta holders are the ones that apply the pressure to validators on what their programs look like, right? And what their access looks like. So it'll be a natural dynamic that already exists. It's just fully unlocked, as I like to say. And from our perspective, from our infrastructure, from our strategies, we will funnel that revenue back to Theta.
Awesome. Thanks for answering that, Arash. Any other questions in the chat? Feel free to put them in here quick. I'm not seeing anything else right now, so might be able to wrap this up here shortly. Is there anything else you want to touch on, Arash, before we wrap things up in case there's no other questions?
Yeah, I think the last thing I would just want to hit on is our thoughts on subnets. I think that's an important topic, and it's new. And I think there's a lot we're going to be doing there. So I wanted to quickly hit on it, especially with this idea of capacity. So, with subnets, the way we're thinking about it is we're going to continue to expand to more markets. So right now we have FX and crypto as the two major concentrated markets. And as we introduce, say, equities, metals, commodities, credit risk, et cetera, we'll essentially be expanding the number of markets. And the way we think about the network is every market will be its own subnet of competition. And then underneath that will be layered competition. So you can think of, Premier League across every market as their own subnet, and then an A League, a B League, a C League. And so when you go, in terms of number of miner slots, we just drastically increase the number of them. And if you are unable to trade or you don't have access to an incredible large amount of funds, you'll still be able to compete on one of the lower leagues, and then increase your holdings over time via emissions, and also showcase your ability to produce value. And one of the things that we want to do is essentially tie investors with miners together. So you can imagine an investor being able to review your trading data on a lower league and work with you to essentially fund you to compete on a higher league. So say you're competing on like C or B League, you would be able to work with investors, have a smart contract with splits emissions, and then go compete on, say, Premier. And so this allows us to expand competition, allow for more users to compete, while also delivering on this idea of collateral capacity. And so that's really how we think about the future of SN8 and PTN, and how we really build this for scale.
Awesome. Thanks, Arash. Well, we don't have anything else in the chat right now, so I think we're good to wrap things up here.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you guys so much for jumping on today and joining our community call. We always appreciate it, and looking forward to continue building with you guys. Cool. Thanks, guys.